So today was to get the crank pulley off of this car. If you didn't know, the spacing of these bolts is not equal, which means this thing only goes on one way. And when you're working down here, you can't see the holes in the crank pulley. So before I took this one off, I made a mark, and I made a mark so when I get the next pulley in, I can sequence the holes the same and not have so much trouble putting it in. So the one on the right is the one I took off. The one on the left is from the 65 Imperial. First thing I'm noticing, that's a 6.5, and that's a 7. Doing a deep study of the switch action and the connections for the air-conditioned heater switches. I have a bunch of them that I've collected over the years with a whole lot of different part numbers, and I've tested them. I use the ohmmeter, and see these two right here? Well, that's for the air conditioning clutch. That's all that does. It's feed for the clutch and then output to the clutch. That's all that does. They're supposed to work in the max button and on the AC button. That's the only two places. Now, over in here, that is the power terminal. That's where you get your feed. And this is the fan plug. So if you get your ohmmeter out, and that one I just had in my hand was, how about that? Part number 5033, right there, works perfect. Off is off. Max, you get clutch, you get fan, clutch, fan, no clutch, no clutch, fan, fan. That's what you want. So let's look at this other switch, a different part number. Off is off, that's good. Defrost. Look what's going on here on heat. The AC clutch is on in heat. How about this part number? Except for some reason, the AC is on with the off button. So I got something wrong presently with the white F, where, well, in fact, here's the summary. Oh, there it is. Off is off, max, clutch, fan, AC fresh, clutch, fan. But look what's going on here in defog. No clutch, no fan, and heat is no fan and clutch. So it's been a while, but I'm thinking that on that switch in the car, that is the terminal that had been hooked up And that's the terminal that I should have used. But I'm not sure what part number switch I put in that car. We're going to have to find that out. And of course, when I installed that switch, I did not have an operating heater motor. So that compounded the problem, and that, I figured if I just put the wires where they were, that would be correct. But I think that was actually just repeating a mistake, which you couldn't tell because the blower motor was bad. Confusing as all heck. So while we're chasing down the heater push buttons that aren't working right on the J, which is air conditioned, we've got the K over here, which is air conditioned. So you can hear the fan is on low. Pull the switch out one. Here, medium. And full. So even with the switch pushed all the way in, if you have any one of these buttons pushed, you have the fan on low. That's how it's wired. The only way you turn the fan off is off. And you can see that reflected in the book here with the wiring diagram. From page 24-2, there. Blower switch has 3 speeds. Low with it knobbed in, high with it out, medium in between. See? So I'll go be wrong about something else here in a little bit. But I'm right about that. Here is one of those air conditioning switches. Push low fan, pull high fan. And this is the switch that does it. This is the feed wire. That one will give you high speed. And that one gives you, I don't know, is it low or medium? Anyway, that's what it looks like. So, how did you do, Bob, with your heater and blower problem? There it's on. There's your low speed fan. There's your medium speed fan. And there's your high speed fan. We had the switch improperly wired up there. We wired it like it came off. The blower control ought to have been on a different terminal. That was one problem. And another problem was that one of the wires coming off of this switch had become unplugged. So, well, it only took me 3 times, but we can call that one done. As soon as I get the glove box, we can start buttoning up. I need a nap. So on the J, we found that this wire was not connected. You know, it disappears into the darkness in a mass of other wires. So, didn't see it, didn't see it, didn't see it. Finally found it. So if this wire is not connected, the fan will run on low, but you don't have high. Learned something. I hope I remember it. On the rear carpet, you see I've got nice sharp definition in the wheel wells. I'm going to have to cut the access holes here for the console. I have the sides trimmed, so at this point I can put on the sill plates, those sill plate extenders, which go right up, excuse me, which go right in there. And with that, I can install the rear seat cushion and the rear armrest and have that much buttoned up. I'm pretty pleased that I was able to get a nice crisp definition. And I did that using a cinder block. I wrapped it up so that the cinder block wouldn't transfer any dirt or whatever into the carpet. And then that was enough weight. Left it for a while. Moving on. I have the cutouts done in the rear carpet. And this is just getting laid in to test for fit. There's a bolt hole here that lines up for that mounting screw. These, of course, are these are the old side plates that go on, so you can see how much coverage you end up getting. That's all the more cutout you need in the carpet to get that. And then, of course, that is for the lower. I ran a cut through here, which just helps this sit better, but this is all covered by the console, so I was just trying to get a good definition down here and relax the carpet up there. But this is fine. There's no sense fussing with it anymore. Let's go put the seatbelt anchors in. Seatbelt anchors. I go take it all from the bottom to the hole. That's the washer. Magic marker. Tells me the hole I need to cut out. What I will do with the X-Acto knife is cut an X. That'll give me 4 triangles, which I can fold and then snip. That gives me a rough enough hole. You don't want to use a drill or something on here because sure as heck it's going to snag into the carpet thread and zink. So this is the safe way to do it. Well, we installed temporarily the front sill plate because I wanted to install the extension, and that would define the carpet. And do this on both sides, and then the rear seat can go in. There's your seatbelt anchors. Hardest part is that when you poke up the sharp all through the floor, just try not to stick yourself. So here on the passenger side, I've got the sill plate put in. By the way, put some painter's tape over your fresh windlass, because this stuff loves to snag, and you know, then it puffs, and so protect your your windlass. So I got the outer screws in. I don't have the inners yet, but I don't care. But that allowed me to get this extension here and here, and the carpet's all nice and tight. We will go to the other side, and then I think it's time for the rear seat. And there we have the other side. Extension installed. Carpet fits real nice. Gave it a quick vacuum. Sure you did. And time to put the back seat in. Well, like that didn't take any time at all. So, there's your rear seat installed. It clipped in just fine. And the rear armrests.